Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're live. Dana, thank you very much.
Finally.
Well, goodness gracious.
Well,
Son
I
of
mean, I
a...
know you had to wait until it was after 6 o'clock. I mean, you gotta
Got to keep them waiting.
exactly
You got to make them
breathless,
thirsty for it.
breathless with anticipation.
Exactly.
Ah,
What is the crisis you're experiencing?
what's your boggle? Um, I don't have, I can't find my the thing or my nail file.
Oh,
and my nail is it's like catching on
oh,
stuff.
it's got like you got like a jagged nail.
Just a little. It's not really painful or anything. It's just enough that it catches.
Ugh, I hate that. God,
I'll live with it. I'll live with it.
we're starting the show on a note of such crisis.
That's okay. It's par for the course.
Yeah. So before we get, because
Too far.
we have what we know. We'll have our usual charming pre-show banter.
Woohoo!
But before we get too far into that, I just want to remind everybody that we are, because even though it's in the title of the stream, people always ask. We are watching episode 9 of Firefly, Ariel. So wherever you watch your Firefly, make sure you have it queued up. And if you have a version of the show that has Mal's introduction at the very beginning, like for instance, if you're watching it on Hulu, like I am, you want to skip ahead to 50 seconds in, or 43 minutes and 45 seconds remaining, and that is where we're going to be starting, because that skips ahead because Dana's version doesn't have that.
So if you are a true fan and you're watching on the DVD, you just start the episode.
That's right. If you own it, if you have your own physical copy. Exactly. Yeah, because we were kind of talking about that before we went on. And also, by the way, and Dana, I don't think you can see this because you're not watching the stream, you're just watching the Zoom. But up above everybody watching, you can see up above our beautiful faces, there is an on-screen time code now. So
Ooh.
people will be able to see.
Can I ban it?
Please. Nice. We'll see how that works. I haven't actually I haven't actually used it before. So
hey, as a teacher, I will just say that this is a learning experience.
There you go.
You know, this is a formative evaluation.
Yeah.
We are, we're learning through the process of doing.
Indeed. So we will see how it goes. But yeah, we were talking before we went on the air about
Firefly.
how we fancy that.
Gee.
Well, and about like Firefly, like, because I mentioned that I had an exchange with some folks on Twitter today about how I have enjoyed Firefly up to this point, but I mean, it's not like I'm pretty sure it's not going to wind up being an all-time favorite.
Gasp.
I know, despite the fact that I have enjoyed it, but that there are,
despite the fact that it's better than Titans.
Well, yeah, but I mean, hitting your thumb with a hammer is better than Titans. You know what I mean? Like,
and yet, dude, I'm never gonna let you. I'm never gonna let go of that ever.
Like, stepping on a Lego is better than Titans. Like, it's just there's a long
even
list of
small Lego, a small one that really jags you up in there.
There's a long list of unpleasant shit that is better than Titans. Although I would put decent money on Titans ending up better than the Snyder Cut. That's just my guess. I bet if I do ever decide to punish myself by watching the Snyder Cut, I'll probably think, no, Titans was better than this. Although also probably aesthetically quite similar. But there are some Firefly fans, like some Firefly super fans, who talk about it as like though it's the best show ever. And you were saying that you have never really encountered those people.
No, the people that I know who like Firefly, the thing is, it was such a great show. Why did it only get one season? That's the thing. It's like it was a good enough show that it deserved more than one season. That's the beef.
That's
and,
the beef.
And that's not that it's like the greatest show ever. I'm like, I don't know anybody who says that.
Well, I've seen
you've said that they're out there, and I'm just like, well, I have a more, apparently we got more sense than that.
I've
the
seen
folks I hang with.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Dana, thanks Charles Chapman. Does your episode have a previously on Firefly at the beginning? Or does it just start
No.
right in
Mm-mm.
it doesn't? Okay, well then we have to
Nope.
change
Starts with
the
the beauty shot.
okay, so let me watch a little bit ahead and
Fix it
thank you,
again.
Charles. Yeah, and let me make sure I get past that.
Some random geek, you point out that Corey must move along home, and that it didn't. I didn't think about it last week because we were watching DS9. But you know what? Move along home sounds like a Firefly episode title. It's like we're all gonna move along home here. You know that we're all just around here out in out in the boonies looking for our home.
It does sound it sounds like a Mal line, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Move along home now.
move along home now. Let's everybody get their things together and move along home.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it.
We finished the job. Time to move along home.
Time to pull up stakes and move along home. Yeah, I think you're right, Charles. It'll be about 1:45. But let me pause it just to make absolutely sure.
It's so good to see everybody. Gracious.
And there we go. Okay. Yeah, it's 1:40. I paused it at 1:46, so we'll just call it that.
Shit. Woo. Although I don't think it actually has the woo in there. It is sadly lacking in woo. Well, we ordered pizza, but it is freaking pouring here in North Georgia, so
it might be a little bit.
They might be they
Before the
allotted
pizza
more
gets there.
time, which I appreciate because they
Sure.
are making sure that their drivers are safe and that so is everybody else on the road. They're not rushing to get here and hurting themselves.
Yeah, so yeah, the time code you'll start at 1:46, or yeah, some random geek has it right as also 42:49 remaining.
Well,
yeah.
Carl, keep in mind today 200 quadloos for today's this isn't, I mean, we had Trek Actually today, but this is Trek Reluctantly. Like Trek Actually is the video that Steve
Trek
posted.
yeah, right.
It was really good.
Oh, thank you.
Let's be honest. You're so welcome.
Thank you.
But so a Batman Actually with Batman Returns, Steve, maybe you should do a Batman Actually video, like a scripted one, and talk about something about Batman Returns.
Talk about why it's actually a comedy. And if you watch it with the mindset that you're watching a comedy, though I think a lot of people who don't like Batman Returns might like it a little more if they approach it with a comedy mindset and they start to see the jokes, because I used to think when I was like a little kid and it first came out, when I was 12 and Batman Returns came out, I thought it was awesome, right? Because I was 12 and it was Batman. And
exactly.
then I went through like my teenage years and I was like, actually, Batman Returns isn't that good. You know what I mean? And then
you went through the well actually phase.
I went exactly.
Your heart.
Exactly. And I was like, it's not there, it's not, you know what I mean? And then I watched it again as an adult, and it's like the scales were removed from my eyes. I started, because
when you were a child, you thought like a child.
And yes, and then I put away childish things.
Now I am a man. World have changed a lot.
And
some things nearly so.
I am a man and I can see the
manly
jokes.
Things?
I can see the jokes. I think it was kind of in a very, very minor, unimportant way. It was kind of revelatory because it's like I had seen this movie so many times. And I watched it, probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. Like, well into my adulthood. And I realized I started seeing the jokes and seeing them as jokes. I was like, wait a minute, that was a joke. Like, this is absurd. This is intentionally absurd. This is a comedy. So yeah. ER Mixon, I do not agree with you. Superman is not more of a murderer in Superman 2. In Man of Steel, he knocks down buildings, dude. He causes a 9/11 in Man of Steel.
Hang on. Yeah, but I think what ER Mixon is getting at is more intent.
Well,
Whereas that wouldn't necessarily be murder. That would be manslaughter.
Reckless
Or
and danger. It would be
yeah.
It would be terrorism, is what it would be.
No, again, that goes to intent.
It would be an
His
act of terrorism.
That it would be an act of
mass destruction,
mass destruction,
mass murder, mass murder.
Murder, it's mass killing.
Corey makes a good point too. Is that they're very wibbly on what actually happens to the Kryptonians in Superman 2. Yes, and tone is also very important. Superman in Superman 2 does not snap anybody's neck. He does not punch anybody's head off. He doesn't break anybody's bones. He tosses them over into a little trench into some fog. It's very.
It's a Disney villain death.
It is kind of a Disney villain death. And I mean, and that's in the theatrical cut of the movie, that's the last we see of them. Is there
a long scream that trails off?
I think there might be. I'm just saying. They
totally ripped that off with Mother Gothel.
Hector Gray, I disagree with you there too. Superman does not try to stop him. Superman helps him knock the buildings down, not on purpose. I mean, he doesn't, but because he's reckless and because it's a stupid movie made by a stupid director, who just wants to show us carnage for our entertainment and doesn't give a shit what it says about the character. So there's that. Yeah, Hector Gray. Yeah, he squishes the bones in Zod's hand because Zod in Superman 2, because Zod is kind of a dick. But he doesn't.
Be honest, Steve. Be honest.
Yes.
Aren't there people that you have wanted to cause pain to just because they're assholes?
Oh, there are so many.
See, and if you were Superman, you could.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really going to push back on the people who are defending Man of Steel Superman. He's a piece of shit, and the movie is shit. And we're just not going to see eye to eye on this. The closer we get to the Snyder cut coming out, the less forgiving I am of the Snyder stands. And if people say, actually, Man of Steel is a good Superman movie, well, then go watch it and leave me alone. Because we're not.
All right.
We're not
we got lots of people here, and I bet they're waiting for us to start Firefly to talk about other shit
and other far inferior shit. You did cuss. I got a little tingle.
Don't tell anybody.
I got a little tingle. But yeah, so we are watching. Yes, we are watching Firefly. Karosh asked if we're watching DS9 or Firefly. We're watching Firefly. And we're watching Ariel, the 9th episode, and seek ahead to the time code on your screen there if you haven't already. If you are watching a version that has the introduction and the previously on at the beginning, if you're watching it on DVD or some other format where it doesn't have all the stuff at the beginning and it just starts right on the episode, then you can start at 0. But if you're watching it on Hulu like I am, skip ahead to that time code. And Dana, are you ready?
Are we going to? I'm ready. Are you going to count us in?
I'm going.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Don't listen to Corey. Don't listen to Corey.
I wasn't listening. I was reading his comment.
Don't pay Corey any heed. How about that?
Oh, come on.
Is that precise enough?
All right.
I got no problem with Corey.
Let's start the show, Steve.
Okay, here we go. Everybody get ready.
Woohoo!
And we will begin the show in 3, 2, 1, play.
Got the guitar going?
Yep. It sure is Firefly, all right. Well, that's a little harsh.
Hey, she mentioned food. I'm in. Some random geek. Yes. That's been going through my head.
Poisoning pigeons in the park.
La la. Every Sunday you'll see my sweetheart and me. Did nobody notice that?
Whoa, hey, easy there, Jane. That was a good line, River. That was a good line. She must have forgotten that it was Jane and thought he was Adam Baldwin for a second.
You ain't the captain.
I'm sorry, what? What do you swear? What do you swear?
No, you're the one ain't nobody likes.
She's grounded.
Well, that's really thoughtful of him because, I mean, if you can't hold up your head, then there ain't a deal.
Right.
Him saying we'll renegotiate if she tries to kill somebody again. That's pretty generous.
Yeah. Thanks. Thought you'd be way more pissed about this than you are.
As in the policy is complicated or dating is complicated?
Both. Maybe it's both. Oh. What a twist. I like that they play horseshoes instead of some like made up future sci-fi game.
And it doesn't require as much equipment as like beanbags.
No, really, all you need is a stick and some horseshoes. I'm a drug dealer, is what I'm saying. We get your sister into the watch a thing. It's a victimless crime.
Yeah, hey, Ultra Trekkie, sorry. We just had stupid daylight savings start.
Yeah, sorry, Drelta Treggy. That was no. Yeah, he noticed that on Monday too. He was like, are you starting an hour early?" Nope.
Nope.
Daylight savings, buddy.
I hate it so much.
Yeah.
I hate
Screw you, Ben Franklin. That's convenient.
That means wearing lots of blue and gray.
Official Alliance colors.
Boring, but a different shade of boring than the Independence.
Right. We picked a different color. Oh, making fake IDs is the same in the future too. That's neat.
Technology schmechnology.
Ah,
You
what?
just need an X-Acto knife.
Microchips, barcodes. What are those?
Charles, standard time all the way. 100%.
Yeah. That's why it's standard. Boy, it's like watching a rehearsal for an episode of House. Maybe that's why they needed glasses, because their pupils were dilapidated. Just saying.
It really is just like rehearsal.
Yeah.
God damn it!
God, what is it? How does it go? How does it go? Just give it to me. Okay.
No, I got
it. I'm gonna get it. Shh. Just give me a second.
No, don't give me a line. Don't give me a line. Don't give me a line. Okay.
What's the line?
Okay.
He's like, I'll volunteer for that.
Geralter Jackie said, "Whistles the MacGyver intro." My brain went da 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 da. I'm like, brain.
That's
no.
not the MacGyver. That's another show.
I mean, it is an intro.
It is an intro, and it's a very memorable one.
And it just it was just like earlier. No reason. Inspector Gadget popped into my head. I'm like, why, brain? Why are you doing this to me?
Inspector Gadget and MacGyver.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to do. Shh, brain. Shh.
You can kind of draw a line from Inspector Gadget to MacGyver.
I think Steve already ate his pizza.
I'm working on it.
Here.
I still have some left. I'm pacing myself.
It's on its way, but it's pouring rain, and so the drivers are being very, very careful with their driving.
And good for them.
Good for them. I'm very grateful, but
you wouldn't want the pizza to be disturbed.
Well, no, but I wouldn't want the pizza driver to be hurt either.
Oh yeah, because if they get hurt too bad, then they'll never make it. You won't get your pizza.
And I won't have my pizza.
Yeah,
that would be unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Yep, because that's the show, folks.
Weird.
We get problems. Things don't go smooth. That's the show.
Their capers pulled off without a hitch, and that's the episode.
Also, like rehearsal, when you're out in the green room, you're like,
yeah, you're just like obsessively repeating it over and over.
And then you get on stage and you still screw it up.
Like, oh, that was completely worthless.
You get to closing night and you finally nail that line. You're like, yes, thank you. At least I got to do it once.
I got it once.
Oh, Colin, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that sucks.
We worked so hard for our lines. Stop.
Good job.
My line.
Good job, Jane. Nailed it, buddy.
I don't trust you. You talked when you weren't supposed to.
Yeah, gotcha. Shut up.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Colin. Yep. See, exactly, Richard Moore. Please don't touch anything.
Yeah, really. 3, 2, 1, pause. Jane. Et tu, Jane?
Did you see
Well,
that coming?
no, but you know how I'm not a very active watcher, so I wasn't like trying to outguess it, but um no, I did not. No, I did not see that coming. And just for everybody watching, I am paused at 1857, so that's where we'll pick it back up. Um
Colin, good question. I would think the latter. James been planning this for a while.
yeah, and he doesn't exactly, I mean,
He's mercenary.
yeah.
Makes no bones about it whatsoever.
There we go. 1857. Yeah, no, I didn't see that coming, but it's kind of I kind of like the I like that they're a crew, they look out for each other, but at the same time there's always like a little bit of dissension among them, like it's not complete. Like if it was Star Trek, and they did like a plot twist in an episode where like Geordi was going to turn in Riker and Picard for something, you'd be like, okay, there's something up there. That doesn't make any sense. But for this show, like it's surprising, but it's also within Jane's established character.
Yeah. I can't think of anybody that of course, I don't know that many Star Trek characters.
One of those.
Yeah. I mean, well, no, but what about somebody like Quark?
Quark is more
that's the
believable.
That's the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah, especially at the point in the show that we're at with Trek Reluctantly, where it's still the first season and the characters are still being established. Yeah, it's I can easily imagine first season Quark doing something like that. Totally. Yeah. And then having a guilty conscience about it, and eventually he does something to rescue the people he turned in or whatever, that's how it would probably go. But, and I also, it's a caper episode, and I like that it's a caper episode. I feel like we haven't had one of those for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jane is absolutely an opportunist.
Yeah.
And it is. It's absolutely. I mean, they're already there in the core world. Oh my God, they're there, and I mean, Simon and River are unconscious and everything. It's just like, I gotta just take the money.
Right.
Okay. So, any other observations, or shall we return to the show?
Yeah, not at the moment. No. Well, yeah, ER Mixon. See, when you start getting into with Deep Space Nine, it's difficult because not all of the regulars or like major recurring characters are part of the crew. Like on Firefly, like Jane is part of the crew. Garrick lives on the station, but especially early on, he's not like part of the crew. Like he's someone who lives on the station. It would be more like, and this actually you could say the same thing for Quark, really. It would be like if someone who was like a member of the crew if one of Cisco's people, like if Kira betrayed, the rest of them, like that would be, it's difficult to sort of square that, but with Jane, it makes more sense.
Maybe see Kira doing it if there was some. Oh, there it is.
Did you find your file?
I did.
Hey, look at that.
I knew it was around someplace.
The Lord provides.
And yeah, no, I don't think Jane's Mary Sue.
No, I wouldn't think. Well, because he's the butt of jokes. He's
not good enough at anything.
He's his occasional lack of competence is the butt of jokes. Yeah, no, I don't think
many jokes regularly. Yeah,
yeah, a Mary Sue or a Marty Stew. It doesn't mean that they're really good at some things. It means they're like unrealistically good at everything, and that's definitely not Jane.
He would have to be much more apt.
He would have to be much more apt.
He is exactly. He's not completely inept, but he is not all that apt.
He's not totally apt.
He is occasionally ept. He has
There,
certain aptitudes.
there you go. There's varying levels of aptitude. It really depends on
Yes,
a given
and
situation.
He's got a certain set of skills.
Ah. Let's get back into the episode before I do that whole monologue from Taken, shall we?
Let's do. Why don't you count us in?
I will. Everybody get ready. Once again, we're at time code 1857 on the Hulu version anyway. Those of you watching on DVD will just have to fend for yourselves. Not my problem. Anyway, here we go. I'll count us in. I'll count us in from 3. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Lupus Regina, there is something to be said for him getting paid better and not having to share a bunk with nobody.
Yeah, really. Whoops. You were right, River. You're like one of those cats that predicts people's deaths in nursing homes. Good thing I was on hand to save him with a procedure that any doctor might have tried. Yeah. Who's die laughing now?
Well, not that guy, because they just saved him. But he wasn't laughing. He was just dead.
Oh, he's dead. Oh, wow, it's a planetarium.
What?
My pun, probably.
Odor Ultra Tricky, congratulations on your fanfic being done.
Corey, I wish I could have seen that too, buddy. That's why I'm here. Oh, it's not doing the good kind of beeping. It's doing the bad kind of beeping.
That works.
Let's get some drugs.
Isn't it good that they ran into the grouchy doctor so they had a card that worked?
Certainly was fortuitous, wasn't it?
Speed of plot.
Indeed.
Oh, turn the red button green.
That's how you know it's working. All right, let's fill these coffins with medicine.
On drugs!
I dig music. And I'm on drugs. Hey, look, it's any given pharmacy in rural America. No, Mal, it's too much aspirin. You can't sell that.
Mine won't close. I have too many drugs.
He's got one of those Tony Stark computers. Well, lobotomy isn't removing damaged tissue.
Necessarily.
Maybe in the future it is, but nowadays that's not what we call lobotomy. Whoops. 3, 2, 1, pause. And paused at 27:51. So, yeah. Couldn't see that coming. It didn't go, the plan didn't go off without a hitch.
Gee, imagine that.
Who would have thought? Um, so yeah, I'm yeah. I guess maybe in this time period, lobotomy has a different definition, but in our world, when you lobotomize someone, you're not removing damaged brain tissue. You are actually damaging their brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's which it sounds like. I mean, it sounds like that's what they did to her, to River. It's just
Yeah, Colin, I think some of it is that uh especially on a job when they're on a time crunch, that they don't necessarily have time because she doesn't always speak in, she kind of speaks almost in code or, like,
that's true.
you know,
But yeah, I mean, it's that's kind of a trope, though. I mean, because that
Richard Moore. That's so great. Yes, the sudden yet inevitable betrayal.
inevitable betrayal.
And
That
he ain't even a dinosaur.
that's kind of the whole, the character is always right, but no one ever listens to them is kind of a trope. I mean, I thought that was how Seven of Nine wound up being in Star Trek Voyager, where like they would have multiple episodes where she would come into conflict with the captain, and Seven was always right. And it's like it never bought her anything. Like it's not like the next time Janeway was like, well, maybe I'll defer to Seven's judgment on this because she's literally always right. Nope, never happened.
Of course not, because then where would your plot twists and developments come from? You actually have to have a story.
You'd have to actually write the show.
What?
Yeah, oh god, that's you are mixing with the Simpsons reference. They cut out a little piece of your brain, and they go in through your nose, and they let you keep the piece of brain they cut out. Who's that big man there? Who's that?
It wouldn't have been for them meddlesome teens.
Yes, I would have got away with it too, if it weren't for you snooping kids.
Yeah, I kind of didn't. I'm just like, I just had to accept that, Simon notices nothing about all these red lights above his sister suddenly scrolling past. Yep, doesn't notice that
Never mind.
at all. Doesn't care. Okay.
Corey says, my dad used to say, I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. That's very clever, actually.
Yeah,
that's some quality wordplay there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think all the actors on Voyager got tired of playing Goofus all the time. It wasn't just Kate Mulgrew. I mean, I think they all probably were frustrated by the fact that
they had to carry an idiot ball around a lot.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like they were on a show that was like, nope, your characters will never grow and change, and you'll be as smart or as dumb as the plot requires you to be, and nothing that happens this week, nothing that happens this week will matter at all next week, and that's how it'll be for 7 years.
But you'll get paid.
And there will be people in the fandom who think that your show is the best. So,
and that you have the best pajamas.
Just hang in there. Yes. Their pajamas are the best pajamas.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think so. Actually, I think the pajamas in the TNG movies are the best pajamas. But
you're just talking about the Star Trek pajamas.
Star Trek pajamas.
Because
you're talking about real pajamas.
I love about YouTube.
That's right. That's right. You're rocking the pajamas right now, below the frame line, or anything. Look at that! Show off those PJs.
Those PJs.
So yeah, shall we?
We shall.
Shall we dive back in? So once again, I am paused at 27:51. Which is also not you. Anybody watching on DVD, you're at a different time code. But if you're watching on Hulu or like another streaming service with the intro and stuff, 27:51 or 16:44 remaining. And I will count us in from 3, and we will get back into this episode. Are you ready?
Let's go. I'm
all right. 3, 2, 1, play. You
had a little in there.
No, because I thought somebody. No, because I thought you were.
No, I was just like getting ready.
Okay. Yeah.
I did not, they're ultra tricky, and I don't know what I said that would have made you think that because I just wasn't paying attention.
Whatever.
Sorry.
Sorry, David. You hit play on the Well, you're close enough.
Oh, we got to see Jane get shot. I'm sure you've seen that, so it's all good.
Uh-oh.
Well, if getting rid of Simon and River is the price of getting rid of Jane, I mean, I think ultimately you came out ahead.
Yeah, is it really that big of a deal? Like, come on.
Silly subtitles, Colin. You're absolutely right. They don't get it.
The person who wrote these subtitles wasn't even paying attention.
Why did you trust the person who helped you with this betrayal? Oh yeah, that's right, because you're a dumbass.
They're out to Trekkie. I like those uniforms too.
Get guns. Corey, you got your calzones. Oh,
Good for you.
pizza. It's not here yet, Ultra Trekkie. John Matthias, I'm waiting on pizza. I'm trying really hard to wait patiently, but I'm just not good at waiting. Get the gun, get the gun, get the gun. Stun gun. Step on his throat.
He's tapping out, Jane. Come on, let him up. He's tapping out. He's tapping out too. You know, nobody's observing the rules here. Uh-oh. The USS Problem has landed. It's like Poltergeist. What's that creepy thing in your hand? Oh, it's one of those. Oh, they painted his nails for him. Well, maybe not. Just let it play.
Okay.
Let it play, everybody.
Let's not go that way. Rock, what's coming to you? Jeez, where'd you dig this bozo up?
Two by two hands of blue. Remember that, folks? From like 80 episodes ago. Oh, super dead. Maybe not. Good job, Jane. Here come the men in black. Now that will be the time for the A-Team theme song.
Pizza, 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 pizza. They gonna RUNNOFT.
That about covers it. They're out to tricky. Nice. Yeah, I can replace her amygdala. Sorry to throw a wrench into your plans, Jane.
Dun dun dun. Now he matches.
Oh man, that's like a Star Trek control panel. Okay, that's a good argument, but hear me out. Is it pizza time?
Pizza time. It's pizza time.
Can I come in? Is it brain regrowing medicine? Aw. The end.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, there we have it. So yeah, I like that one. I thought that was a pretty good show.
Mhm.
That was a good scene between Mal and Jane there at the end.
Yeah,
When he
yeah.
was-
That's honestly
Yeah.
that's the
That-
rest of it's
yeah.
okay, but that makes the episode for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a really strong scene. Yeah. The caper was good, you know. And I like that they got away with it. I like that they successfully stole medicine, which is
Finally.
well, that's true too. Like they actually succeeded at something, but they were like, we're going to steal a bunch of medicine, and that's what they did. Good for them.
Yep. So it didn't go smooth, but it went.
It went, yeah, and it went. I mean,
they did the thing.
It didn't go smooth, but I mean, there was really only one major hiccup, and that was because of Jane. Like it wasn't like it's not like a mistake or something that they overlooked or whatever. It was just like, no, Jane turned him in.
They just overlooked Jane.
Yeah.
They yeah. They trusted a member of their own crew. Gee, what fools they were.
Yeah, Daniel Houck, better than the last time they stole medicine. Yes, but good point. Good point. Oh shit, they need the medicine.
They're learning.
Oh, God. Yeah, steal medicine from people that have a whole bunch of medicine, not from people who don't have any medicine.
Also the rich people that we don't like.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just buy some more medicine, assholes. God. Yeah, but Richard Moore, two counting the badges, but that wasn't like a major hiccup. I mean, that was like they just took the badge off the cranky doctor that they killed and they got in that way. I mean, it was just sort of like a minor crisis that they solved like in the same scene.
And it was totally unnecessary too. It was just like a reminder that they are just a way to show that the doctor was still with them, which they could have done immediately inside when they just dump him out onto the floor.
Yeah. Well, and I guess also just, so that it wouldn't go 100% smoothly. I mean, there was a little hiccup. Kurosh, I don't know if I don't think the doctor was actually
honestly,
killed.
I think part of that was so that there would be a hiccup so you wouldn't be expecting the big hiccup.
Right.
You
wouldn't expect Jane to be a turncoat. A turn brown coat.
Or at least not like right in this episode. I mean, it's coming. I mean, he flat out tells you it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm the killing. I was joking about the doctor being killed. I don't think they actually killed the doctor.
Well, not intentionally, but
I mean, does Zoe use that fucking defibrillator that often? Maybe she had it turned up too high. Kurosh, okay, maybe Jane's not a brown coat, but I mean, it's a pun, dude. Give me a break.
Well, maybe he expects better puns from these.
Reach with me a little bit. Just stretch.
Reach for the sky.
It's Firefly. There's brown coats, turncoat, brown coat. Like that's where I'm going with that. Come on.
I have pizza.
Are you happy? Is it your usual, the Hawaiian pizza? Delish. Kurosh, I forgive you. I have found it within my capacious heart. What is that? What is the snort for?
That would be derision. Your withered black corpuscle.
My Grinch heart. Because I'm just such a human type fella.
Good for you.
I think so. I'm glad we agree.
It is their Ultra Trekkie. It is quite good, and I'm enjoying it.
And made all the sweeter because you had to wait so damn long to get it.
No, not really. I would have enjoyed it just as much.
Well, of course,
been here earlier, but made sweeter by the knowledge that our pizza delivery driver was cautious and safe, and by the knowledge that thanks to all this rain, I get a little bit more of a break. Although it probably won't matter. Honestly, I'll just be up early and stressing about how to revise my plans because the classes will be shorter.
Yeah. Oh, Joe, you had corned beef and cabbage, a traditional St. Patty's Day meal. Dana, you know what I did to observe St. Patrick's Day today?
Oh, can I guess?
You can guess, please.
Absolutely nothing.
You guessed right. I didn't wear no green. I didn't drink no green beer. I didn't eat no corned beef and cabbage.
I wore green, but it was literally by accident.
You accidentally dressed in green.
I did. And my husband looked at me and said, "Oh, yeah, it's Wednesday. I got to wear green." I'm like, the line is on Wednesdays we wear pink. And I thought about it, and I was like, and also, why would like an elementary school have like a mean girls day? It's not really, you know. And then I was like, oh, green, got it. Just
Toity toity toy. It's Irish stereotype day. Toity toity toy. Oh, happy St. Patrick's Day.
It's not, you know. It's the feast of St. Patrick. Emphasis on the feast.
The feast. Some random geek. Is that a Freudian slip? The hunter from Blood Boar, or is that just what I would call it? Yes, that's true. Yes, I'm drinking from a green can. So, you know, maybe that. Hey, I am celebrating St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. I'm drinking from a green can.
You got a green screen behind you.
I do. My green screen monitor is visible behind me.
There you go. I have a green pencil.
Wow, look, you know what?
Woo!
Turns out it was St. Patty's Day all along. In our hearts.
The St. Patty's Day that is within us. The
St. Patty's Day within us all. Yeah, so I mean, a good episode. Kind of like a par for the course for Firefly episode. Like it kind of the way
Fair to Midland.
The way I feel about this episode is the way I feel about the series as a whole at this point. That was pretty good. Yeah, it's like that was pretty good. You know,
an enjoyable way to spend an evening and hang out and chit chat with friends.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's much more enjoyable because we're doing this and because I get to hang out and watch it with you. But I mean, if I was just watching it just on its own as an episode, you know, it's like, okay, it's pretty good.
Have some pizza, have some soda.
Yeah.
Watch some Firefly.
Okay. Get bored with it after half an hour and be like, I'm just going to watch Robot Chicken. You know. A lot of it seems like people in the chat are accidentally celebrating St. Patrick's Day too. Some random geek says the leggings I am happening to wear happen to be green fish scale leggings. So, you know.
Shiny green is fading. It does that, unfortunately.
Accidental St. Patrick's Day observance. Yes, Corey, the real St. Patty's Day was the friends we made along the way. Very true. Words to live
Poetry.
by. Words to live
Poetry,
by.
Steve. We got some poets here.
Throughout to Trekkie, which tweet about the Justice League? Oh, was it? Oh, when I said this. Oh, I tweeted about the Snyder Cut today because the Snyder Cut comes out tomorrow. I'm not watching it.
Ooh, how exciting!
I'm not watching it.
No, not the Snyder Cut, but we have a video because of that.
We do. We have a video coming out tomorrow. That is the last bit of material that we can wring out of that marathon recording session that we did like 3 months ago.
A month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Oh, is it longer?
Maybe 2 months ago, but it's been a while where we recorded comment responses for literally like 5 hours. It starts out with a rant about Zack Snyder and why he sucks. And then it gets into other territory as well. And you know, that comes out tomorrow. But yeah, the Snyder Cut of the Justice League comes out tomorrow, and I tweeted about it, and I said instead of watching the Snyder Cut of Justice League tomorrow, I'll probably just rewatch the first 4 episodes of Superman and Lois, or instead of doing that, if I want to actually replicate what I feel like the experience of actually watching the Snyder Cut would be instead, I'll just hit myself in the face with a hammer for 4 hours. And, you know,
where's your hammer, Steve?
Well, it's in the garage. I'll go get it. You know,
okay.
I mean, I don't have it with me right now. I'm not going to do it now.
I just didn't know. I was just asking. Shoot.
What?
I could have had that be my question. I still don't have a question.
You asked me where my hammer is?
Well, now I've asked it. I can't ask that for Ask-Away.
It's in the garage, hanging above the workbench.
I still have to come up with something.
You'll come up with something.
You keep saying that, and I still haven't come up with anything.
Yes, Radical Bacon.
It's Wednesday.
Which means you have 2 days.
Oh, shnikes.
Yes, Radical Bacon. The Snyder Cut is 4 hours. I mean, if they showed it to prisoners, it would be a lawsuit waiting to happen. It would be a human rights violation. 4 hours. I don't like most films that are 4 hours long made by good filmmakers. Why would anybody want to watch a 4-hour Zack Snyder movie? I do not get it. I know that people are excited for it. I do not get it. They live on a different planet than the one I live on.
I would totally be excited to watch it if I were paid enough.
Yeah, we're going to have to negotiate, right? I mean, like, how much money are we talking about exactly?
Exactly. How much money would it take for you to look forward to getting through those 4 hours that you could get your money?
Yeah.
Like how much money would it take for you to be like, yeah, to be excited about the watching the Snyder Cut so that you could get the money?
It's a lot of money. I haven't got a figure in my head.
You haven't got a figure?
But it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's more money than anybody would pay me. Which is the point. It's like when Michael Keaton didn't want to do a third Batman movie, so he intentionally asked for an amount of money that he knew they wouldn't pay him. That's me with the Snyder Cut. I'll say, yeah, sure, I'll watch it for a certain amount of money, and I'll intentionally highball the figures. I'm like, they're not giving me that much. So that way, I don't have to watch it.
Do it for $1,000.
You do it for $1,000? You do it.
Yeah.
You do it for $1,000?
I would sit. Would I have to be awake the whole time?
Yes. You're being paid, Dana. Come on, a little professionalism, please.
I know. But it would just, do it for $1,000.
You do it for.
I think I could make myself stay awake for a 4-hour movie for $1,000. Especially. I could take a personal day from school just to make sure that I wasn't like, because if it's at the end of the day, I'm tired. Yeah. I might not be able to make it. I mean, I turn into a pumpkin pretty easily at the end of the evening. I'm just like, okay, guys, I love hanging out with you, but at bedtime, bye.
Yeah.
It's how it is with my family. I love my family, but I'm very grateful that Zoom has put its limits back on.
So you only get 40 minutes.
Yep, it says our Zoom call is going to be ending, and I'm like, okay,
rats.
And it's bedtime.
And here I don't subscribe to Zoom Premium. Oh well, bye everybody.
Well, because since I'm a teacher, I used to be able to just be like endless Zoom, and now I can't anymore because they changed it back. So
because you've been living too good for too long.
Oh, they're ultra tricky. Oh, Steve, you don't like Wesley?
No, I like Wesley. I like Wesley fine, but there's a joke in the video today about how nobody likes Wesley. Personally, Personally, I don't have a huge problem with Wesley. I don't think he's terribly well written for the first couple seasons, but I don't like hate the character or anything. I think he's fine.
Yeah. Plus, I like Will.
Yeah, Will Wheaton is a really good guy, and and he's just so like when you watch, because he hosts the sort of like the behind the scenes, like the after show. Mm-hmm. For the new Star Trek shows. Like he hosted it for the last couple seasons of Discovery and for Picard. And it's like you couldn't ask for a better ambassador for Star Trek. Like he's always so enthusiastic, and he's such a huge nerd, and he knows everything about Star Trek, and he's like super excited about all of it. And he's just, he's great. And in addition to that, like he was in it. Like he's not just some random nerd they hired. Like he was in the show. So you have that extra level to it. It's really cool.
Joe McClory, thank you. I'm so glad. Well, give me a few minutes. Joe McClory, what did you think of the fire swamp scene? Because it's so, I think that it's so, of course, it depends on how well they do it in the audiobook, but I just think it's so much better in the book than it is in the movie. Oh my gosh, the fire swamp scene in the book when, they get caught at the end, and Buttercup is with Wesley, and they've just come through the fire swamp, and then Prince Humperdinck and Count Rugen are there, and they have all their soldiers there, and they've caught them, and Wesley says, we can just go back and we can live in the fire swamp, so screw you. And Prince Humperdinck says, for the last time, surrender. And Wesley says, death first. And Buttercup says, do you promise not to hurt him? And Prince Humperdinck goes, what was that? And Wesley goes, what was that? And Buttercup steps forward and says, if I come with you now of my own free will, if things go, if things go back to the way they were 3 nights ago, will you promise not to hurt this man? And Humperdinck says, I swear on the soul of my already dead mother and my soon to be dead father that I will not harm this man. Something like that. I don't remember exactly. I'm sure he did it better. And she looks at Wesley and she says, there, you can't ask for a fairer deal than that, and that's the truth. And he says, but I don't, I want to be with you. She's like, but you're going to be okay. I thought that you died before it almost killed me. I couldn't bear it if you died again when I had the power to save you. And he says, well, the truth is you would rather live with your prince than die with your love. Admit it. And she says, well, yeah, I'll admit it. I would rather live than die.
Yeah.
And he says, we were talking about love. And then it says, and then Buttercup said it. I can live without love. And she turns and walks away with him, hand in hand with her prince. And it's just, it's so... well, also, Joe, I like the fire salt better. Also, the snow sand bit is better because you get the description in the book that you can't get in the movie. But yeah, that bit, and they missed that opportunity for the scene at the end of the fire swamp. They could have taken it and they didn't. Now the snow sand bit, because like while they're in the snow sand, like you don't see anything. You just see one of the ROESs comes nosing around. But in the book, they have to keep their eyes and their mouth closed because as soon as you open your eyes, your mouth, the snow sand gets in you. And that's how you die. You're suffocated. But so Wesley knows this. So he knows to keep his eyes and mouth shut. And he's like, he knows that he will find her. And so what happens is eventually, like if you go into the snow sand, eventually your skin, you rot, and then your skin and your muscle tissue and all that, is stripped clean because I mean, the sand is, it's particulate matter. And so he reaches out and he grabs what he thinks is Buttercup, but it's a skeleton. And he screams and the snow sand gets in him. But anyway, then he gets out. And it's not in the movie because it's all dark. And how are you going to do that? Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Exactly, Philip. And it is, she's saying that to him because he's the one who did it to her. He was alive for 5 years and he let her think that he had died and she had lost him for 5 years. She lived without love because of him, because he was off making money. And he
As the Dread Pirate Roberts.
As the Dread Pirate Roberts, and he didn't bother to write her a letter. I'm just saying. She's really forgiving. Really forgiving. So, well, I went off on a tangent there, but totally worth it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a Princess Bride tangent.
Yeah, it's such a good book. It's such a good book.
Dorota Trekkie says, concerning the Star Trek possibilities, I think they missed a big opportunity since they did not turn the latest Trek books into a show. I guess, are you talking about the ones that sort of continue the shows after, like they did, like they did a series of like a sort of a reboot of the TV shows where they did like what would have been like season 8 of Deep Space Nine and, the adventures of Picard and company after the movies. And they kind of tried to maintain sort of a decent coherent continuity between them. I've never read any of those, so I don't know, but that's nothing new. I mean, most of the time, the people who do the shows and the movies don't really pay any attention to the books. I mean, that's like when Disney started making the Star Wars sequels and everybody, a lot of the fans complained that they didn't follow like the expanded universe stuff. Like, were you really expecting them to? Like, they never do. I can't think of a single example where that's ever happened. They always let the filmmakers, do their own thing. And
make the films.
Yeah, weird. And yes, Sisk Dink Sis Jibba, you know who I'm talking to, says we need to see the Zindi again. I guess the Zindi were an alien species in Star Trek Enterprise.
Okay.
I mean, if you like the Zindi, I guess you hope to see him again. That's not like I care more about what the story's going to be. Like I really, there's not like a particular alien species that I'm like, oh, I hope I see them again. Like I don't really care as long as it's a good story. So if someone comes up with like an awesome Zindi story and they put it in one of the upcoming shows, yeah, awesome, great. But like,
Woo!
do I want to see the Zindi again just for the sake of it? I don't really care. You know. I will say if they I don't I mean it keeps going up and down and sometimes it looks like it's back on and sometimes it looks like it's not, but if they do end up making another if they do end up making a fourth movie that's set in the Kelvin timeline with like Chris Pine as Kirk and Zachary Quinto as Spock, um I would really like for them to do at least one of those movies where it's Kirk versus Klingons as like the main plot, because we got a little tiny bit of Kirk versus Klingons in Star Trek Into Darkness when Khan goes to hide on the Klingon homeworld and they have to go get him. But I would love to see like a whole movie where the plot of the movie is Kirk and the crew of the Enterprise versus the Klingons, because that's like classic old school Star Trek to me, and it would be awesome if one of the movies was about that. But you know, that's the closest I get to saying like, oh, I hope I see, you know, XYZ in something, just because we haven't actually seen that in the
In the
Kelvin
new,
in the new movies, and it's like to me that's like vintage Star Trek, you know.
and to see their spin on it would be interesting because you know
Yeah,
they're not going to do it the same way.
yeah, and like I said, the little glimpses that we got of the Klingons, of those versions of the Klingons in Star Trek Into Darkness were they looked really cool. Like I like the look of them. They had like jewelry in their forehead ridges that we'd never seen before. Like they had like
Mm-hmm.
rings in the ridges, and they were bald like the Klingons in Star Trek Discovery that everybody lost their fucking minds over. You know, they was just a really cool look, and I thought you know, I would like to see more of
But
that.
if that happens, I mean, they would want to do something different with them rather than just doing the thing that had been done before.
Sure.
And you know that fanboys would just like lose their minds over that and be like, man,
Oh yeah. If they did, yeah.
which is why, I mean, secretly, Steve, be honest,
Yeah,
that's the real reason that you want it to happen because you want to piss off all those fanboys.
and you know, because I've told you this many times. If I were in charge of the franchise, I would do stuff like that on purpose, just to piss off that group of fans. Like I know there are certain fans, anytime anything is different or anything like doesn't make sense or doesn't like match established canon, like there are people that just fucking flip out about it. I would live to just put in little things. Not, I wouldn't do like a whole show just to troll them, but I would just put in little things just to flip them out because it's so easy. Like have a character come in for one scene wearing like the wrong color shirt, you know, with no explanation. Just like, and then the next scene they're back in the regular shirt again, and just don't and never mention it or explain it at all. You know, like that's the kind of shit I would do.
Because you're an asshole.
Just so, yeah, exactly. Just so I could be asked about it at conventions, and they would say, and I would say, there is no explanation for it. It's a TV show. Live with it.
Because I wanted to, and they gave me money.
Karosh says, please, you would do a whole show to troll them. Nah, I wouldn't do a whole show. I genuinely like Star Trek. And if somebody said, hey, Steve, do you want to make a Star Trek show? I would make more of that opportunity than just trolling the shittiest fans. I would want to make a really good show. But I would take my chances every now and then to poke them a little bit and give them the finger because, you know, but that
Because
wouldn't be
that's
the,
what you do.
yeah, but that wouldn't be the whole show. No, not at all.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's all I got left. Just a little piece of
just a
crust.
little piece of pizza left.
Little piece of pizza crust. I'm so happy though.
I'm so glad.
Pizza.
I'm so glad.
Ah,
So you have your regular family Zoom tonight at 8.
Yep.
So we'll wrap up here pretty soon, so you have time to kind of relax before that.
woohoo.
Empire Jeff says, "Are there any species you do not want to see again?" No, not really. There, I'm as long as it's a good story, I really don't care. I mean, they're
Humans. Dang it.
humans. And Richard Moore, I disagree with you. Into Darkness, I definitely disagree with you. That Into Darkness had nothing to say. I absolutely disagree with that. Into Darkness was by far the most political of the 3 Kelvin movies. There's like stuff in there about the war on terror, about extrajudicial executions, I mean, it's like a super political movie. I really don't get how you can say that Into Darkness had nothing to say. It's so good.
Plus, it's got a really good score.
Oh, the
Come
score to
on.
the Kelvin movies, that
Oh,
Michael Giacchino Star Trek theme is awesome.
it's
It's
so good.
awesome. It's so
It's
good.
so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Well,
so yeah, you want to start winding this baby up?
sure.
Okay.
Why don't you talk about Some Random Geek?
And you.
Oh, no, I meant like the charity links, genius.
Oh, but you guys are going to be the guest on the next conversation stream.
Yeah, I know, but like that's like you have to go in order,
okay,
chronologically. There's stuff that happens before then. Okay.
Yes, charity links.
Charity links. Very important.
Very important. Charitylinks.page. Some Random Geek collates that for us, curates that for us. It's linked in the description. It's a link to, fundraisers and PayPal links and stuff for some friends of ours who need a helping hand financially, who are in a tough spot. And if you can possibly throw a few bucks their way, we would greatly appreciate it. Charitylinks.page, and it is linked in the description. Day after tomorrow, since we're going in order, is
wait. No, tomorrow is the Zack Snyder cut release, which means you have a Zack Snyder rant.
That's right.
Other stuff.
Our podcast. We don't have a podcast, Dana. Our comment response. Well, we do kind of have a podcast, but it's not just ours. Because you're on the Ensign's log. But
there is a podcast,
but it's not like the Dana. Yeah, it's not like the Dana and Steve show.
Nope.
But yeah, so we did a bunch of comment responses, and there's a final one of those coming out tomorrow. That is in response. That is for now. That is in response to a comment from one of our earlier videos where I go off on a Zack Snyder rant. So I'm calling the video the Dana and Steve respond to comments, the Snyder cut, because we talk about Zack Snyder and we talk about some other stuff too. And it's
mostly you talk about Zack
Snyder.
Yeah,
because you use that as you're so good at. You take my deranged rantings as a launching pad to go off in your own interesting direction.
My own rantings.
Yeah, and you talk about like choreography of fight scenes and how to write fight scenes, and it's a really interesting conversation. So that comes out tomorrow.
Is this the one where I talk about sex?
You talk about how your insight as far as writing fight scenes and writing sex scenes, how it's very similar.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a really interesting talk. And then on Friday is Ask Away. So if you are a patron and you haven't asked a question yet, you have until Friday, a little bit before the show, to ask your question. Monday is the next conversation stream where the guests will be Some Random Geek and Dana, and they will gang up on me and yell at me about anarchism, and
we'll probably also yell at each other. In fairness, there will be.
I'm going to try to pitch you against each other. I'm going to try to Yojimbo it and get you two to argue with each other.
And then we'll tell you that you're both. We'll both tell you that you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Used to.
So that's Monday, and then a week from tonight we will be back for another Trek Reluctantly. And we will be watching Deep Space Nine, and I have to look up what the next episode is because
gasp! You don't just know.
I know
the one that comes after the game one.
The one that comes after Move Along Home, which is the Nagus, the first appearance of the Grand Nagus, the leader of Ferengi Society. So that'll be the next episode of Deep Space Nine we watch a week from tonight, the Nagus, and then a week from Friday. We will be back to do our book talk about Chapter 11.
Yes.
Of the Dispossessed. We are almost done. The Dispossessed.
We are almost done, and then after that, we're going to read the Other Westmore.
The Other Westmore.
So if you are getting it from a library or someplace that'll take you a little bit, you got plenty of time.
Yeah, you got.
Hey,
yeah.
Some Random Geek. You should message me on Facebook so we can plan our attack for Monday.
Great. Yeah, please,
sucker.
Please do that.
All right.
Please do that. Yeah, and what do you have coming up on your YouTube channel, my dear?
Oh, well, I have a video in which I talk about death. and corpses and cadavers and whatever else you
Oh
want to call
my.
it. But what we leave behind and what happens. It's a book talk about Mary Roach's Stiff, and that's going to be on Saturday. And then I'm working on, theoretically, was hoping to shoot it tomorrow, but not likely to happen. The
You
next
still have a few
section
chapters to read.
mostly like I've read and taken notes, and I'm trying to get caught up with my notes and getting that. But I've got a lot of things to say. Even putting last time I did it just off of the notes in the book, and that kind of rambled for that. So I'm scripting this one. But yeah, Pride and Prejudice, first read through, and this one includes Mr. Darcy's proposal, like the first proposal, and I just don't like Mr. Darcy, and I am liking Elizabeth less and less. And also, there's some character inconsistencies, and I'm just like, and Mr. Darcy writes a letter, and it's really long, guys. It's really long. So I'm getting through that at this point. He writes it a lot, and apparently he can write pretty fast. Anyway, that's in the notes.
They had nothing else to do back then, so you know.
Well, yeah, but it's like she goes on a walk after breakfast, and he like finds her, later on her walk, and it's not at lunchtime because she's still out there. And it's like pages and pages, and it says 8:00 a.m. So he had time to like write the letter and then go out and like walk for a couple of miles to find her. Plus, he had to go around because she was trying to avoid him. And I'm like, how quickly does he's like zoom? So it's really interesting. Yeah. So death.
Death.
They're Alter Trekkie. In a little web episode. Interesting. That is Maggie. No chapters in the Dispossessed. Yeah,
chapter 12. Chapter 12 is the last chapter in the
number
Dispossessed,
12.
right? Yeah.
Yes, we're done making bankruptcy puns, I think.
Yeah. Even though we haven't even gotten to that show yet.
Are we?
Chapter 11 is the next one we need to talk about.
Okay.
And then,
I was just like,
but 12 is the last chapter. Yeah. So we have 2 chapters left. Isn't it? I thought you said it was. Or are there 13?
I thought there were 13.
Maybe there's 13. I don't know.
Hang on, I got it right here.
Just read until the book's over. Until there aren't any more
people
pages.
might want to know. I mean, see,
13. All right then, 13.
Chapter 13. So, but yeah, 11 was really short. I finished it pretty quick. So
cool. Then I can slack off and wait till it's almost time for the show to read it.
Which you do anyway.
That's true. I usually wait till the day before. I usually read it the day before. So it's like we were talking about today. So it's fresh in my mind, but I also have time to think about it.
You let it percolate.
I let it percolate.
Like
exactly.
It's sludge.
Or delicious, rich, dark, black coffee.
With no sweetener and no cream.
No sweetener, no cream, just black. God, yes.
Der Tod und das Mädchen. When I finish, if I ever get done with dadgum thing.
Well, speaking of being finished.
Oh, yes.
Shall we?
I think we've gone off.
Are we done?
I think we might be done.
All right. So yeah, that's what's coming up on our respective YouTube channels over the next couple of weeks. Thank you all so much for joining us and watching Firefly with us, and hope you'll be back next week to watch some more Deep Space Nine with us. Woo! And that's it.
Yep. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. It was fun.
Bye, everybody. Take care.